What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hard Angle Barn YouTube channel. We're back on the 240. It's still super snowy outside. It hasn't melted off. I can't feel my toes. So let's get started on this 240 again. So in today's video, we're starting on the brakes. The brakes were the stopping point of the last video. I tried to bleed them. Some of the nipples broke off. The other ones were so clogged. No matter how many times I cleaned them, they would just get clogged again. So we're putting all new rotors, pads, and calipers, front and rear. Let's get right to it. Stop jibber jabbing. It's a shame the pads on these 240 brakes that we're changing out, they're almost new. They're still pretty thick, but man, are they destroyed. That's what happens when you let stuff sit for 7 years or so. What a difference from when we started. Super rusty, ugly brakes, broken off nipples, to all shiny and new, except the brackets. New hardware. Looks good. So the rear brakes are done, just need to bleed them, but new calipers, rotors, and pads are on. Having a little trouble here. This bottom bolt is so tight, my 4-foot breaker bar, I kind of cracked it loose, but it's not, moving easily like this one is up here now, even though that one was just about as tight. So I'm soaking them in penetrating fluid. Hopefully when I come out tomorrow and try to put these on, it's not going to snap the bolt off. I really don't want to sit and drill a bolt out of a steering knuckle, but we'll see what happens. Working on the 240, I have discovered I think the intercooler is a little too big. Not sure why I picked an intercooler this big. I probably would have ran a little bit smaller one, but I think we can make it fit. We did just start the SR. It runs a little bit better now that this tube's been blocked off, but it's still not perfect. Could be because it's cold, didn't run it more than 10 seconds. This brake bolt actually came out. It didn't snap. Soaking it in oil over the weekend did its thing. It's the only one I got to do yet. The passenger side front, and then I can bleed the brakes finally, get the wheels back on it, and technically it will run and drive, but that trunk is still looming over me. So build is going according to plan for today. All 4 wheels have new brakes. Because this barn is such a mess, I need to, yes, I do need to. What I'm planning is to get all the brakes bled, the wheels on it. I'm going to put it back on the ground. The battery is hooked up now, but I need to kind of tuck the cable, make it not look so mad, because I got a little extra in there in case we ever need more cable to run, to put a new ground terminal on or something, but I need to make that look better. And then I'm going to start the car, back it out, and this place needs cleaned bad. Bad. So that's what we're going to do. Start bleeding. This thing being on the ground right now is a little shocking to me. It's been on jack stands for so long in my garage, or up in these ramps, that I forgot how absolutely short this car is. Like, here's the headlights. It's level with my knee. Walk around the roof. It's not even, it's like in the middle of my rib cage. This thing is super low, and it's not really that low on the fender gap. It's not like it's slammed. But anyway, I'm gonna move it out here so I can start cleaning. This place is trashed. So let me hook up the battery. Let me put the cap on. The brakes are bled pretty decent. I just checked the oil, which is still good. I gotta move all this junk. I'm going to start this and then close the hood, back it up to the edge of the garage, put the ramps down, and back it out so we can start cleaning. Voltage might be a little low. Whoops. I actually Still don't have any brakes. So I hope you guys appreciate that shot of the 240 pulling out. I lost my tripod about, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago. I just found it tucked in the stupidest spot. So that's, if you guys are wondering why I haven't been doing like footage of actually working on things, it's because I literally haven't been able to find my tripod for a month and a half. So I might do some time-lapsey stuff now. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy seeing some time-lapse stuff, or it was good to see it go away for a bit. But anyway, see you cleaning. I think it's safe to say this place is a frickin' mess. Well, that's a whole lot different. Look at that. Stuff's actually where it's supposed to be. My tools are all here. Everything's put away in drawers. I have open space. I feel so much more at ease already, even though it's not super clean, but so much better. Still need to do the benches though. I think it's time now we move back to this trunk that I've been avoiding. So I was doing another coat off camera because, you know, you guys don't want to watch me time lapse, you know, 5-6 coats of primer. After the first two, you can't really see a difference anymore. But so I need to check your nozzles. Right in the middle of painting, a little bit collected on the tip and then it dripped. Not a big deal because I can sand it out, but definitely something to look for between coats. Check to make sure your nozzles are dry. Still trying to figure out the running issues with the 240, but at least it's drivable if I need to move it. Just doesn't run very well or above 2500 RPM, but trunk's got a couple coats of primer on it now. I'm gonna let that dry for a couple more minutes. I'm gonna put it away here, and I'm also gonna put the 240 to bed in here so nothing can mess with any animals, or mainly just cats and raccoons up here. No people are gonna mess with anything, but it's gonna get cold. But I'm glad I got some paint thrown today. It was finally warm enough after about 2 weeks of being too cold. Trunk is dry, sitting back there. Time to put the ramps down, get the 240 in here. So I got the fenders unbolted now, partially, just enough so I can move them back out of the way so I can get to the hood hinge bolts and hopefully fix the hood alignment issue. So it's tightened back down again now. Let's put the hood down and see what it looks like. If you remember, this side used to overlap. Now it's got a nice even gap all the way up. And it's equal with this side all the way up. Finally shuts. Looks good. Time to polish that hood. Now the problem is we can't close the hood because right there the hood latch is fouling on this piece of plexiglass, or fiberglass I mean. And the dilemma is, do I cut out this little chunk, but you see how thick it is, or do I take off the tip of the hood latch? I don't want to take off a lot of fiberglass because it's going to get weaker a lot quicker, but I might just cut the corner off of this. Also, test fitting the bumper. This is about as far on as it'll go. I got this one screw in it, and it's already fouling on the intercooler. So I'm going to have to cut a big chunk of this front section out to fit this massive intercooler. I apologize, I can't get good shots. I have so much stuff in my way behind me. I can only step like 3 feet away from the 240. I need to build a bigger barn. So I wanted to do the last little bit of this hood on camera. It looks a whole lot better. It's still gonna need polish, but I think what's on it was actually overspray, because the stuff coming off of it's pink. And I want to do this last little bit so you can hear how bad this thing needed a clay bar. And yes, I meant to say here, because here's paint that's been clayed. Here's paint that's been, or that has not been clayed. So that's all the stuff that's stuck on the surface. I like to use Dawn. Gets off wax and stuff too if there's any left. And then you'll hear it rough and get nicer. Rough. Nicer. Get another look at it here. Stuff in the clay, it's like red. So I think somebody painted a car near this, didn't cover it, and it had just a little bit of red paint overspray on it. But I gotta clean it off, but it looks really good now. So now it's time to give it a compound and polish. Yeah. Well, I messed up. I wasn't thinking, and I sprayed the hood down with water, cleaned it off, get all the polishing compound off, and it froze. Sweet. After the polish, just gotta coat it with a protectant now. It looks so good. I haven't got this spot over here, that yellow green streak. Looks super good. Alright, so now I'm going to use one of my favorite products. I'm a super hard shell this hood to keep it nice and protected from the elements. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry for about 2 minutes till it gets hazy, and then we can wipe off the excess and give it a good buff. And now that we got most of the super hard shell off, I'm going to give it a nice high-speed buffing. I don't know why this made me think of the Rusty's commercial. Look at that shine! Ka-chow! Well, quite literally, look at that shine. That looks so much better than when it showed up. So we have a boatload of snow outside. I got the stove running, and it's time to trim the kooky bumper. Sweet. Clears the enormous intercooler. Coming together. So for testing purposes, this side is hardwired. This side is wired through the plug. Half of it's soldered and heat shrinked, half of it still needs soldered. Got low beam, high beam. But as you can see, when I go to high beam, this one shuts off. There's a second power wire I need to wire through a relay that isn't included in the Zenki, because the Zenki runs like a 2-filament bulb. These don't really run that, but it's like a railroad crossing light. When I go to flick the high beams on, the high beam that these two wires would come on, turn on the relay, which would feed power to this second power wire for the low beam, and then they would both come on like that. But obviously, since that's not wired up, that's not what happens.
Dude, this soldering iron blows.
So I want to finish the 240 video. It's probably about 18 or 19 minutes long by now. Trunk is primed. It's on the car. It's sealed. All the lights are back in it. The headlights are on it right now, and they are semi-wired, but the bumper is not. I want to go ahead and finish off this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope to get some more stuff out on this 240 soon. I want to get it finished up and back to Jeremy so he can enjoy his car. But that's all I have for you now. The video's getting a little long, so we'll be back at it soon, hopefully. And that's all I really have to say about that. So, again, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Talk to you later.